welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have special guest, the Junkman from YouTube's channel, the Junkman. I'd like you to introduce yourself, Mr. Junkman.
It's me, Junkman. I don't know what else much to say, but I talk toys, movies, mostly anything I want to. Although every time I read something about how to do YouTube, they say stick to one subject, but it's more fun to talk about whatever you want to talk about, I think.
I'm not gonna lie, I do the same thing. I mean, we've been all over on our podcast, and because this is a podcast slash YouTube channel, so I just take the audio and run it as the podcast. And some of my episodes do good, some episodes whatever, but I have fun talking about them, and I think that's what's I don't,
that's the important thing. As long as you have fun talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Now I can worry how it does later.
No, because if I actually worried about anything on here, I would have quit like the third or fourth show, because when I only got like 20 people, 10 people, whatever, listening to them first couple shows, I'm like,
it's always the best ones that nobody listens to. So.
What's funny is when I changed podcast things, I went and some people found me, went back, found some of the early ones, which we legitimately did in a restaurant on my phone.
Oh, God.
And we were sitting there because we used to go to a Mexican restaurant after I closed my shop, and we would sit around and we would talk about comics, toys, video, movies, all that stuff. And it was all just, we recorded everything, and people loved it.
Yeah, that's a good atmosphere. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's like having a regular.
It makes people forget about a mic.
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely.
When you get the best. Yeah.
Because there'd be times we go to get up at the end of the day, and we'd have to reach over, have to grab the phone, shut it off, and so. All right, I got to ask you this, because I know this is the big one. Everybody's complaining about Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Going overboard.
I liked it. But
it was okay. I mean, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was what it was. I mean, it wasn't.
But here's the thing, though. Kevin Smith has told us so many stories over the years that I don't listen to any of them anymore. Like, we were supposed to get Mallrats, the sequel to Mallrats. We were supposed to get Fletch Lives. We were supposed to get all these things. And when he announced he was going to do Master of the Universe, I was like, yeah, I believe it when I see it. I mean, I don't dislike him. I like him. I like his stuff. And when all of a sudden they started showing the talent roster on the show and everything, I was like, okay, this is a little more credential, more credible. Yeah. I mean, and then we get it, and I'm like, okay, this is a Masters of the Universe. This isn't He-Man in the Masters of the Universe. It's Masters of the Universe.
Right.
So, but
yeah, I think whoever's plan it was to promote it and put He-Man right on the center of the poster and everything, I think they kind of helped tick everybody off. If they just came out from the beginning and said, hey, this is kind of everybody's show, not He-Man.
Oh yeah,
I think we would all been prepared for it. Yeah,
I think if they would have just stuck with the original poster I saw, which was just Master of the Universe Revelations and just Grayskull, I'd have been fine with that.
But a lot of the same people upset are the same people that's always upset.
Oh yeah, you're never gonna make everybody happy.
You kind of know before it even came out which ones are gonna do the videos about it. So.
Oh yeah.
So there's nothing you can do, I don't think.
Now, then there's also just the people who go, okay, everybody hates it, so no. I mean, I have a comic shop, and I keep asking everybody that comes in, and they're like, I liked it. Maybe I'm only 2 or 3 episodes in, but I enjoyed it. It's not, I didn't hate it. I don't understand the hate on it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't get it. So
like I said, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So seen a lot worse on TV.
Dude, I lived through the New Adventures of He-Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I imagine if they had YouTube when the movie came out.
Oh God. And that's another one. I still love that movie. It's dumb.
It's good in this dumb, cheesy 80s way.
Oh, yeah. What's really funny is finding out that Mattel basically bankrolled the entire thing, and Canon just kept stealing money from them through the entire making of the movie.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Now, here's something you've talked about is the fact is that everybody complains that say this that the Star Wars toys don't sell. That's why they're not in stores. That's why they're not on shelves. I'm like, but if they didn't sell, then wouldn't there be toys on the shelves? Then outside of the one-off ones that nobody likes. So, I have to tell you a story, true story. Guy comes running my shop, brings me I want to say a banana box full of Star Wars Black figures, Black Series figures.
Yeah.
He pulls the top off, and I'm like, sweet, Black figures, get them, whatever. It's legitimately 2 figures. And I always ask, can you guess which 2 figures it is?
Black Series?
Yeah.
Do I get any clues? Older?
It's new stuff.
Yeah.
It's
as Jar Jar Binks is one of them.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I couldn't tell you. I can't keep up with the new. That's
Rose Tico and Snoke. An entire box. This is legitimately.
Yes, I just kind of blew my head over the new stuff. Yeah.
It's legitimately 100 figures. Probably
100 of each box. One of them?
And probably 70 of them were Rose Ticos and 30 of them were Snokes. And the only thing I could think of was this guy dug these out of the trash or something.
Yeah.
So, but that's my problem is that everybody wants to say that Star Wars toys don't sell, but you got all these, peg warmers that are the garbage figures nobody wants.
Yeah, there's a lot going into it besides they are not selling. Production's not getting, the stores getting like 1 per case of everything, so stores are empty. I bring up Fortnite figures because that's probably one of the best selling toys that kids buy.
Yeah,
and it's always full. And I said that, somebody said, well, if they're full, nobody's buying them. I was like, no, it's because they're getting more than 1 case in. They're coming in. But you know how it is. Star Wars is empty. And I was just on Twitter yesterday, and I pulled up something from last year's sales. It said Hasbro did 70% went up in Star Wars sales on toys last year.
Well, I could definitely see that.
So they're doing something. I mean, that's a lot, but I think Baby Yoda helped push a lot of those numbers last year.
Oh yeah, because we got all that Mandalorian stuff, and what's really nice is that I just got a case of Black Series figures, and it's probably one of the only times that I think that every figure in that case is a winner. It's literally 2 of the Bad Batch figures. It's Bo-Katan. It's Saj Ventress. It's the new Black Stormtroopers from the Bad Batch series.
Yeah.
And but literally, there's not 1 bad figure in it. That's a case of figures that people are going to buy every figure out of.
Yeah, I mean, collectors most of the time, especially a trooper, they're going to get more than 1 most of the time.
Yeah. And then they did one a while back, case that was case of 4 figures, 3 troopers and a Tusken Raider. That's all army builders. So people are going to jump on that. And that's what I think, how many, I don't know. Cause you go to the store, we go to Walmart, and there's still the same lonely Admiral Akbar is still just hanging there from the,
or Carl Weathers from the Mandalorians everywhere in my stores.
Oh man. Well, our store, no Mandalorian figures, none.
From the series or the Mandalorian himself?
None of them.
No. Okay.
Those retro figures, they got them. Yeah. I think they got 1 case because I went in there once and they had just the Mando figure and everything else. They had a beat up Ugnaught and Carl Weathers at one point. Those are all gone. So,
and also, I don't know how many people know this because I did a video kind of touching on it the other day. Hasbro for Marvel, Marvel's a little easier to find, and they have to guarantee Disney about I think it was $80 million a year. But for the Star Wars license, not counting royalties they have to pay, which is like 25%, they have to guarantee and pay Disney $225 million a year. So I think that's why you're not seeing, you see a lot of the same molds, you see a lot of the same paints, I think same figures. So I think they're just trying their best to save what they can to keep that Star Wars line, but they're not making any money off of it. Disney's making all the money off of it.
Well, what kills me is that I have 4 sons. They're all older except for my I have all adult children at this point. But my kids have always agreed with me. The fact is that they don't make ships anymore.
Yeah. If they do, it's $75.
Yeah, and the fact you can't go and buy, you can get, I got a Luke Skywalker and X-Wing gear over there and out of a case it's relatively new, ship to put him in, but you got a figure. So,
no ship, no play set.
No. And then the stuff you get is through Hasbro Pulse, and you got or the Kickstarter crap that I can't stand.
Yeah. It's a sadly, from everything I read, the movie and TV themed toys, action figures are, each year dying out. Video game figures are selling. And they actually make YouTube figures. So hey, maybe me and you will get a figure one day.
I hope not. I don't want one.
You don't want a figure? You don't want to see yourself at the store?
No.
You don't see scalpers putting you on eBay?
Oh, that's another thing that's killing me right now. I'm one of the few people that when I actually can get cases in through my store, I put them out. And yeah, my cost is a bit higher than Walmart because, my cost personally is, Walmart probably pays, $5 a figure. I pay $12 a figure. So yeah, my figure is $15 or $18, where Walmart's is 12 or 15. So, but I don't jack them up. I don't jack up like the one figure out of the case. That's legitimately, all the figures are okay, like the G.I. Joe classified stuff that came out. I can't get them as cheap as Walmart is, which is $20 a figure. Mine are all 25.
All right.
So even the troop builders, they're all 25. So people come in my shop, they can buy them at $25. Yeah, I sell out of them before I sell out of Cobra Commander or Gung Ho, but
right.
Wampa! Hop Wampa Cave! Luke's inside! It connects to Hoth Iron Cannon!
Introducing Hoth World, 3 playsets in 1, new from Star Wars Micro Collection line. 19 die-cast figures and action poses included.
Closed doors! Raised tower! Activate Iron Cannon! Connected to Hoth generator attack! Skywalker's hit! Target generated! The world of Hoth is now! Yeah!
Hoth World from Star Wars Micro Collection line. Playsets also sold separately, figures included, new from Kenner.
But okay, what else I got? All right, I know you brought this up before, and I had some other customer come in. Is the Star Wars customs? The people making the mass quantities of the Stormtrooper Han Solo, or the Stormtrooper Han Solo, the vintage style and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember doing conventions back in the day when I was young, and you had the guys who did, 5, 6 figures and sold them at their booth. That's one thing. But man, when you got those guys making almost precise,
right,
80s figures, I don't.
Well, are you talking just customs or reproductions?
Well, both the reproduction ones too. One that's super shady.
Yeah, that's the one that gets me. Like a Han Trooper, they never made it. So
that. But like Yak Face and well, I can never pronounce his name. The big weird guy with the headhunter staff.
Man.
Yeah.
However you say it, that's how you say it. Somebody told me that's how I say it wrong, but that's how it's spelled.
Okay. All right. I gotta bring this one up already before I get it. The AT-AT versus AT-AT.
AT-AT.
It's AT-AT. It's always been AT-AT.
Yes, it's AT-AT, unless you were born in the 90s, maybe.
See, that's just it. I got into an argument with somebody. I'm like, you're gonna tell me that's one of my favorite toys of all time is the AT-AT.
I'm sure they don't say TIE fighter.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, T-fighter.
I mean, that's how. Anytime you can say it, not just with Star Wars, you say it. Well, that's how it's always been. And they like to say, well, you don't say ATST. I was like, well, that's not a word.
That's right. That's what I got. That's what I got the other day. Because
That's their all. That's that always.
They even made fun of that on Rick and Morty last week. Did you see that?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. They poke fun at the whole thing, and it's like, as the millennials say, AT. And I'm like, what? Oh my god! But the get back to those customs and the reproduction stuff. I had a guy bring in, and he tried to sell me a pack of guns. He goes, "Hey," he goes, "I got a bunch of Star Wars guns," and he goes, "I'm looking at him like, these are not real." And he's like, "Well, I was like, I went over, I dug in my case, I pulled out the blaster that they gave all the original, the Stormtrooper blaster that everybody had, and I'm like, look at that." I put them down on a white piece of paper, and I'm like, "That's an original. That's a reproduction." And he's like, "Oh, it's the same thing." I'm like, "Look, the color's different." So,
yeah, but it's getting harder and harder to tell.
It's stupid hard to tell.
Yeah, there's a guy on eBay sells. They'll pass the float test. I was like, well, there's no other reason for it to pass it unless you're trying to fool somebody.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason you would care if it passed the float. Well, that float test doesn't really matter much anymore.
Well, being in the business, I would back in the day bag up figures when I put them out for sale, and if I put a reproduction gun in with the figure, I marked repro gun, or and that's even on GI Joe, everything. If I had a repro, that's what got marked on there, because it was obviously a repro gun. Or so, but now people were like, we're going to try to get one past everybody, because now everybody's got.
I was like, just make them a different color. That way, the people that want it don't care. They'll be happy, and the people that do want it can tell them easily.
Oh yeah. So, all right. This is one I've had people ask me, and I got to ask you: do you think Star Wars is dead in the theater?
Are we talking? Well, it looks like the theaters are dead.
Well, now, but because with all the stuff going streaming now, with Obi-Wan and the Mandalorian and stuff like that, do you think Star Wars is?
No, Star Wars ain't dead.
No, I don't think it is either. But
they bring out, I guarantee now, if they opened a Darth Vader movie next weekend, it would do very well. Even after COVID. Well, as long as they give somebody something in Star Wars that looks good, they'll go see it.
Well, I that's like everybody hated on Solo, and I liked Solo.
I really did. Yeah, I like Solo too.
Because do you remember the old books? There's that trilogy of books that came out in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, that's what that reminded me of. Right, and that was very much a throwback for me, and it made me feel good about. And I've told this to somebody else. They're like, well, how do you know when Star Wars is getting to the point where you just don't want to see it anymore? And I go, if I can go to the theater and the music kicks in and I don't get goosebumps, I was like, then it's time for me to stop watching Star Wars. And I was like, I turned 47 and I still get goosebumps every time I hear the stupid music for Star Wars. Yeah, that's what I hate about the Rogue One and Solo. I was like, you got to give me all the opening text, because it pulls me into Star Wars. but yeah, as long as they're making good stuff. I mean, Marvel's hit and miss sometimes, and they're still, or before COVID, 2 or 3 a year. Nobody got burned out by it. No, I like right now. I'm reading all the Star Wars stuff, and with this whole bounty hunter wars. Are you reading any of the Marvel Star Wars stuff? No, I don't keep up with much of the EU stuff. Right now, it's bridging the gap between the end of Empire and the beginning of Return of the Jedi. It's where we used to have Shadows of the Empire. Yeah. But it's bridging that gap, and some of the books are even existing at the same moment in time, but from different points of view. Oh, okay. So they have the Bounty Hunter book is going on while there's a book called Dr. Aphra, and they're legitimately going on at the same time in the same place, but from Dr. Aphra's point of view and from the Bounty Hunter's point of view. That's pretty neat. Yeah, it works. I enjoy it, and I think Marvel, with some of their comics, they're not the best, but I think you put out 5-6 books a month, and 4 of them are really good, and 2 of them are probably great. and the other ones are just fair, then I think you've got a winner considering this day and age with comics. So
it's hard for me to get into, especially the new Star Wars comic. I grew up on the old Marvel comics.
yeah,
I just miss that fun Star Wars adventure in the comics now. It's like everyone's got to be serious. It's got to have something to do with it. It's got to, and it's like, just give me a fun, little stupid adventure I can read and forget about.
oh, see, that's what I like. I just finished over the pandemic, over the lockdown and stuff like that. I just finished the entire run of the original Marvel series.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, they don't get enough love.
No. Especially those toward the end when they started just tapping into their own mythos and adding all those characters, and that was fun. But I really wish we would get some of them characters. Well, we did. I mean, we got they made the one bounty hunter,
Hunter,
canon now.
Yeah,
he's canon now. So I'm like, I'm totally fine with that.
And they made a black series of the rabbit.
Yep, Jax. That's one I cannot believe ever made it as much as I guess they had to wait for George Lucas not to have Star Wars no more.
I guess he hated it, so I'm surprised they still did it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll get some holiday special figures one day.
We already did second wave.
Oh, yeah. Technically.
I have to do this. Is me and my son were talking about that because you brought up had that episode where is the second wave of Star Wars figures the holiday special episode figures.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, that's not. And he goes, and now he's like, no, look at it. And he looked at it, and then he was talking to some friends online, and they brought it up. And they didn't know who you were, but one of the guys brought it up. And they're like, this guy called the Junkman brought it up. And he goes, it's look into it. It's real. And I was like, I'm like, holy crap. The fact that it's kind of in a small circle that we are like, as a kid, I never connected the two. Cause I was,
no.
I don't know.
You saw the special and you forgot all about it too. You're like,
mm-hmm. The only thing I ever liked is I still love the cartoon. That Boba Fett cartoon was great in the middle.
It's good.
So,
that's on Disney Plus. They put that up.
Yeah, that surprised me big time. I went to go to the vintage, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, sweet. I watched it. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Every year at the shop, we watched the holiday special at Christmas time.
Yeah, you got to put it on. That's why Disney ought to just go ahead. I mean, it's out there on bootleg. Just go ahead and throw it up there. It ain't gonna hurt nothing.
See, I don't know why I figured Disney. I told my buddies, I was like, I guarantee it'll see a real legitimate DVD Blu-ray release just because Disney be like, yeah, that's free money. That's free money.
Wait till Lucas passes away. Then you'll see it in probably the non-special editions.
The non-special edition. It's like I was digging through some DVDs the other day and I found the Star Wars non-special edition DVD.
Man.
And I was like, oh my crap, I had to hurry up and put it in. I was like, because all I have is my VHS tapes of it.
Yeah, I got VHS. That's the one with the bonus. It's a bonus feature, right?
It's the bonus feature on the second disc. Yep.
Yeah. And those didn't sell well when they came out, but now they're worth a lot. Now everybody wants them.
Oh yeah, it's because everybody wants to hurry up and go back and get that special edition.
Yeah.
I don't even have it. I have the special edition on Laserdisc. I don't have the special edition, the regular edition on Laserdisc. Really?
Man.
Because I got OCD, so I've legitimately got like 5 volumes of the original trilogy on VHS. I have the Laserdisc, DVD, like 3 different DVD sets and like 3 different Blu-ray sets, and I haven't started on a 4K yet, which I know is going to happen.
I've been trying to collect, get all 3 of the originals on beta. I got 2 of them. I haven't found Jedi on beta yet. I mean, I can go on eBay and get it, but my goal is to find it in the wild.
That's mine right there. I could totally go get the laser discs that I'm missing in the betas in the but I'll find them sooner or later. I'll go to a garage sale or a flea market, and it'll just be like, oh, sweet.
Right. That Star Wars video rental box one, I gave up trying to find it.
The last time I
clamshell one,
Oh yeah. The last time I found the Star Wars on Laserdisc, it had been sitting outside at a flea market, and when I took and pulled it out of the sleeve, I was like, "Oh, that's nice." And I looked at it; it was bowl shaped. from
Oh man.
sitting there and getting too hot. It's like, yeah, that's not gonna work on my laser display.
And then they had the what was it called? It was more like a big SD card.
Oh yeah. I don't have those. It's
I've seen them, but I never picked them up.
SpectraVision.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's RCA SpectraVision. I have a player, but I don't have Star Wars on it. I tried to buy some at the
they're
last
usually
year.
really cheap.
Yeah, you can get. I think I could have got them at $5 a piece at the last comic book show I was at. So, but I can't get my SpectraVision to work. So it's at this point, it's like, do I want to spend $15?
Man, I don't even have a Blu-ray player anymore, and you're over there with it all.
I have an 8mm Star Wars movies.
I've got some that I had when I was a kid. I still got.
Yeah,
it's not the full movie. It's like best of clips or something.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes long. Yeah, that's what I got. But I have it, and I have an 8mm projector. So
really,
2 of them, because in case the other one breaks down.
Yeah.
I am a physical media guy. My wife hates it. I
have no DVD player. I've got a Blu-ray, but I lost the remote for it, and it's not even hooked up. But I still have my little bookcase right there in the living room with all the DVDs on it. But it just looks nice.
Well, you see this stuff over here.
Yeah.
Like the bottom shelves are just jam-packed full of DVDs. I have a shelf over here that's jam-packed full of Blu-rays. And then I have paper boxes jam-packed full of DVDs. Man. And both me and my son were like, yeah, when Netflix goes down and it's like, and this shit you can, and when you can't find these movies, we have them.
Got them.
Because I am physical, because I mean, look at this. I got comic boxes sitting here. I got bookshelves full of books, DVDs, you name it. So
yeah, as soon as one of those movies ain't woke enough, and then you can be able to.
Well, it's funny because I had a buddy of mine, and I loaned him my old VHS tape of the Song of the South.
Oh yeah, I've got it on VHS.
And he's like, I was like, just make a copy of it. I don't care. You know, Disney don't care at this point because they don't want it to exist. And you know, he bought it because he borrowed it off me so he could have it because his daughter has all the other Disney movies except for Song of the South. What's really funny about this is about 20 years ago, I was doing a convention, and the guy set up next to me worked for a DVD finishing company. His company was the one that put menus in. He put all the stuff in, and he brought it up, and he goes, "Look at this!" And he brought it up, and it was the head of Disney at the time. And he come out, and it was the opening for when they were going to release Song of the South on DVD, you know, and it had him going, "Yeah, this is a different time. This is a different era. You know, this is not how Disney believes anymore. We'd like to bring it to you as close to the original as we can, and we hope you enjoy it." And then it never saw the light of day.
Really?
So I was like, I wish I would have snagged it off the guy, a copy of it. But I was like, okay, we'll get a copy of Song of the South finally.
Yeah.
Nope.
They did release it, and they did release some in Japan and some other countries. It's just they didn't want to. Over here.
No, it's like,
honestly, I don't see anything that bad about it.
One of my favorite Disney
movies.
movies,
like you said, for the time period.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're not going around screaming the N-word at people or nothing.
No.
I mean, you hear the stories about it, you think it's going to be god awful. You think it's going to be really the most racist thing you ever seen.
Well, I watched Song of the South every year in elementary school and probably in junior high at Christmas time. So
yeah, I mean, I've lived about 40 minutes away from Uncle Remus Museum, so we have always been. Well, Uncle Remus wrote his story, so we'd always see all that stuff.
Oh, I bet.
It's like I got a black friend. He watches that. What's the problem?
Well, Disney got really weird there for a while. Like my favorite Disney movie of all time is The Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
And America has never got a uncut version of that.
Right.
Outside the original airing, you know, in theaters when it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I sure ain't gonna get nothing now.
No.
Climate right now, because from what I understand, they're not even going to make a the Cobra with the hood on.
No, Cobra Commander, hooded Cobra Commander is a thing of the past.
And if that means I can't, how are they going to do a Hoff Trooper?
I heard that's a thing of the past too now.
Yeah, I'm sure that is.
I didn't even think about that recently, but yeah. That's like my son the other day. He was sitting there. He goes, Dad, he goes, why is the one Hoth trooper behind the commander in the AT-AT look completely different than any other Hoth trooper? And I went, what? I had to go back, throw the Blu-ray in, pause it, and I went, that guy looks completely different.
Yeah.
Then they actually gave that guy a backstory. He's a Hoth Trooper commander or something like that. Or
oh, really? I didn't know they gave him backstory.
They get, well, I don't know if he has a backstory, but they gave him like an actual,
Oh
rank,
yeah.
I guess. So
you got a cat back there? Or am I seeing things?
that is a cat. That is my wife's cat's flitting around. My cat's over there.
Okay.
Never moves.
I saw a little head pop up, and I was like, wait a minute.
There's
Thought your toys were coming alive.
No. There's a dog down there. So
Man.
yeah. No, it's actually surprising the dog's being quiet, not wrapped around my legs. It's my wife's dog, and it will not leave me alone. No.
If it's your wife's dog, doesn't it make it your dog?
It totally makes it my dog.
Okay.
I'm the one that gets up every morning, lets it outside. I'm the one that
it's y'all's dog.
It's our dog. So she makes fun of her Scooby dog. It looks like a Scooby-Doo dog.
Oh, really?
Except for it's not a full-size Great Dane, so it's a part Great Dane. So it's only about like third scale.
Okay.
It might be
I was big then.
Whatever.
Yeah, better.
So, all right.
It looks so golden. Holds up to 40 Star Wars action figures, like new Squid Head and Emperor's Royal Guard, each sold separately. And besides the new C-3PO collector's case, there's a new Chewbacca bandolier strap. Fits over your shoulder for play and holds 10 action figures securely. Like new Princess Leia Organic and Brie Yeast, each sold separately. It even has pouches.
New C-3PO collector's case, Chewbacca bandolier strap, and action figures, each sold separately from Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
But yeah, we were talking about this one. The fact that Disney has to they finally did the whole Slave One thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Did that surprise someone? It's been
long as it's just not on the box. If they start taking it out of the canon, that's when it's gonna try to change the name.
Well,
that's a little different.
Yeah, I don't get it, because it's it never really had a name in the movies. It's never like, hey, it's the Slave One.
Yeah.
Only a handful of ships ever got names. Names. They were always just their designated class. Blockade Runner was never it was just the Blockade Runner.
I always call it the Blockade Runner.
Oh yeah. The medical frigate was just the medical frigate. The troop transport was the troop transport. It wasn't until I got older I'm like, oh, they have names. Okay.
Yeah, I think Slave One's a little bit more connected because we knew that from the toy as a kid. So everybody called it Slave One.
Yeah. Then in the original Legends canon, we got Slave 2 when Slave 1.
So
yeah,
I think I don't think you'll ever hear the name like in the Boba Fett show.
No,
I don't think they'll rename it, but I think they'll just go to their way out of nuts. But I mean, really, we're that sensitive now, or just a word. I heard no one complain about it. No one complained about it. It just is like, let's get it out of the way before anybody does complain.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. It like I said, it was a Slave One since 1980. It's going to be the Slave One. It'll be Boba Fett's ship.
Right.
Or they could just do like the Falcon instead of the Millennium Falcon. It could just be the one. It's Boba Fett.
Just one.
Yeah, it's funny because with Star Wars and stuff, people claim that new people aren't coming into it. But my kids are all in their early 20s. They all love Star Wars. My oldest son's in his late 20s, going to be 30 here soon. They all still love Star Wars. Every time there's a movie out, we go see it as a family.
Right.
The you know, do you think that's hurting, the fact that they keep saying that there's no new, that it's only us old guys that are still loving Star Wars?
No, I mean, I heard that late 80s when it was dead, that no one liked Star Wars anymore except the nerdy people, you know, and then it came back and everybody went to see the special editions. Then everybody went to see the prequels.
Well, I played through, you know, sixth grade up, you know, because 83 I was 9, so you know, but I was playing the Star Wars role-playing game. Like when that came out, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. You can play, and that came out in the 80s, and I remember that being huge back then. I mean, it wasn't D&D huge, but you know, I remember tons of people playing it. So you couldn't find the books. You had to go to the store and tell them that you wanted to order on one of them to order a Star Wars book. Then you had to wait like 2 weeks for them to get it in. I
bought the role-playing book, never played it. It was just called, it was the only thing I ever seen Star Wars in the last 5 years at a store. I was like, oh my God, there's Star Wars at this bookstore. And I bought it just for that.
It's funny that at one point, no one cared. You know, they say no one cared.
No, but, I mean, it was the small fans, but you know.
Oh yeah. Because I never stopped. I mean, it was I had to tell my kids when I was little, before I was able to afford, you know, the Star Wars VHS tapes. Remember when they were stupid expensive, when you had to, like, you know, store rentals were like $100 a piece.
When you had to rent it and then hook 2 VCRs up together. So
that's right. I had all 3 movies on one VHS tape.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah.
And you'd put it in, and you would start on Star Wars. You'd run through, when it was still just Star Wars, you would go through Empire and Return. It would rewind. You'd be playing all day and hanging out with your friends watching Star Wars.
Right.
And that was
Star Wars was always, even the people. Star Wars always seemed a little bit more cooler, even the people that wasn't in the movies and stuff. The geek code. It wasn't like Star Trek. Star Trek might get you beaten up in the playground if you come to school with a Star Trek shirt on.
Oh yeah. Well,
but Star Wars always had a little bit more cool factor.
Oh yeah. It was I remember when me and my friends were gaming back in the day. I ended up buying the Star Trek role-playing game, and we had the Star Wars role-playing game.
Yeah.
And it was always like, no, we're playing Star Wars. We're playing the Star Wars role-playing.
Yeah, I had a friend that came to school with a Star Trek, you know, like a uniform shirt.
Oh yeah.
This is probably 5th grade. And I think he got ragged on about that shirt. Wore it one time for at least 4 years, probably. Almost high school. They're like, here comes Spock, and they would call him Spock all the time.
Well, I remember the when the movie, the Star Trek the motion picture movie came out, and they had the belt buckle, like the tricorder giant belt buckle toy.
Oh, so yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. Give me a second.
I remember one kid wore that to school once.
Yeah, that's all. Yep.
and it was immediately done.
Yeah.
But you know what? I wore a Star Wars shirt probably every other day from kindergarten through 5th grade, when they stopped, you know, when they finally you couldn't get any more Star Wars t-shirts.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I remember, like I said, in that dead time, we had a store media play, and it was about 50 minutes from my house, and somebody said, man, I saw Star Wars shirts and a Star Wars hat at the store. You got to go check it out. So I drove all the way up there by myself, again, just to buy a Star Wars shirt and a hat.
Well, it's funny, when they started doing the comics for Dark Horse, and that started kind of bringing stuff back. We used to get these quarterly reports from the comic book company. So we'd get these things with all the books that they're planning for the year or for that quarter, whatever. And I found one that I had gotten when I worked at a store in like 91. And it was when Marvel was going to put out Dark Empire.
Oh, really? I didn't know Marvel was in talks.
I didn't know either. It was legitimately, you go through and it was this paper, and it's like coming like 92 or whatever year it finally dropped. And I'm like, I don't remember this ever happening. And found out at one point that they actually were, but they didn't want to pay Lucasfilms the rights because at that time they considered it.
Well, that's like the toys. They had to send Kenner I think it was $10,000 check every year or something.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we're not making them. We don't care. Who cares? And they
Nope,
lost the
nobody-
license. And that's why they're paying so much now for all them.
Oh yeah. Could you
all
imagine
their
if they would have
fees.
just continued to pay that $10,000 a year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, it would have been Hasbro at one point because Kenner would have been.
Yeah. I think that's when they stopped. Yeah. Hasbro didn't pay it. And although I think it lapsed before Hasbro bought it, but still they could have kept paying it. And I would have bought Kenner.
Oh yeah, because I think that would have made. I'd hoped, as much as I was pumped when they made those new Power of the Force figures, that all the super jacked ones. I was so pumped, man. I got them. You know, I was an adult, but I was like, oh sweet, you know. And then I looked at them like, you know, Luke's on steroids. What the hell? Why is?
Yeah, he was pretty jacked. All of them were jacked, but he was the worst.
Well, my one son goes, yeah, one of his best friends, he only had that Luke Skywalker and the X-Wing. So his X-Wing was bowed out in the pilot seat from where that Luke Skywalker always sat in it.
Yeah, they use the same mold as they use for the Kenner ones, but they made the figures bigger. Like trying to get them new Power of the Force and a Falcon, Chewie and Han together in the Falcon.
Yeah, they wouldn't fit.
Yeah, you had to squeeze their legs. Take you a while, but get them in there.
Well, they had that giant stance too when like Chewbacca and Han Solo had that weird like almost step stance, so his figure never stood up.
All right.
But all right. I think I asked you every one of my questions I wanted to ask you. Yeah, everything. Cool. I think I'm pretty good here. But I do appreciate you coming on here. I mean, you know, we all have busy schedules and I know yours is probably pretty busy too. So, and
yeah, well, I appreciate you asking me.
Yeah. And I do have that question for you. I always look at your figures behind your head. Is that all 17, the last final 17? Are you missing one?
I've got them all, but the Ewoks wouldn't fit.
The Ewok wouldn't fit?
So, and I will say it. Everybody says last 17, but it's really the last 15.
Yeah, because there's 2 Ewoks came in the wave before that.
They came in the Return of the Jedi package first, but I don't know why. At least in the US. Yeah, but it's they're Ewoks. So I didn't put them in there. They wouldn't fit. Was it 2 Ewoks in that line in the Power of the Force?
Yeah, it was a Paplu and
Rumba.
Yeah,
Roomba, whatever the name is.
What
I do have them, like I said.
Yeah,
but,
I'd sold off almost all my original figures at one point.
Oh man!
And now I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just try to get them all again. I mean, I didn't have all the final 17. I had probably 8 of them.
Yeah.
And you know, what's funny is the Luke, the Stormtrooper Luke, I got him no helmet. I probably bought him in a garage sale or something.
Yeah.
Years upon years later, I'm walking down the street and I see something white on the sidewalk in the crack.
Yeah.
And I reach over and I pick it up and I hold it up. I'm like, holy crap. That's a Stormtrooper helmet.
A real one?
A real one.
How did he get there?
No idea. And this is probably 95, 96.
Crazy. Yeah.
I was, you know, because at that point that figure had been out for a decade at least. I'm walking down the street from my apartment, going to go get a pizza, and just happen to find a Stormtrooper helmet on the sidewalk.
Man, that's crazy.
Well, there's my youngest son. What was really funny was one of my best friends, he lived in this one apartment, and these little kids had this little, maybe 5 foot by 5 foot square spot of dirt. Hi, bud. Let's go play. Yeah. And they would go out there and play with their G.I. Joes, Star Wars, whatever. And about 5 years after these kids moved out, we went out there with a shovel and dug into the dirt. 3 figures.
Really?
Han Solo, Chewbacca, and the Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
all buried in a 5-foot square of dirt. So,
Man. Yeah, I bought the Luke without a helmet. It took me about 10 years to find a helmet that I was willing to pay for.
that's another
And I
thing.
still pay more than I wanted to then, I think. I was like, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on that because they just keep going up. So
Yeah, I had to do that with a couple things relatively recently. I'm like, I don't want to spend scalper prices, but on even new stuff. But I'm like, man, I'm never going to get it because it's gone.
It's really bad when you're paying $80 for a little helmet.
Oh yeah. Well, outside of Star Wars stuff, one of my favorite things is the original Shogun Warriors. Remember them?
Oh yeah, I had a real tall blue one.
I got 5 of those, and try to find any accessories. Well, that's why the repro market on their accessories is insane, because a missile, which came on like every figure, is
I'm sure
$30, and I have one of the most expensive ones over there. And when my son over there was little, he goes riding through the house on a tricycle, plows into the shelf, it falls head first and cracks the head.
Oh,
so the head's still there, kind of, but if you look, there's a giant crack through the middle of it.
oh man.
The head alone on a junk one of those will cost me probably $300,
Jeez.
because he's a $500 figure by himself, loose.
Yeah, I wanted to get that. I don't know much about this. A big blue one that had his fist shot off, and he has a missile on his hand.
Mazinger, does he have the little ship that comes out? Yeah, I got 2 of those. I got the version 1 and version 3.
I didn't even know, but my brother had it. I think we still got it, but it's missing everything. Yeah, so I was going to replace it. I wanted to buy one just to have. And I was like, man, these things are expensive.
I got super lucky. I had a guy owed me money. I ended up with the one Deimos. I went to a garage sale, found one of the Mazingers.
Man.
Just pure happenstance. I was like, looked over and I was like, that can't be real. I walked over. I'm like, he goes, how much you want for it? He goes, $20. I'm like, sold.
I hardly ever find. Yeah, I know one guy finds stuff all the time at yard sales, and I hardly ever find anything.
I haven't found anything good at a garage sale in probably 3 years, at least.
It's been longer than that for me. Now, in the early 90s, when I started getting back into vintage, I could find stuff here and there because people were going to college and their parents were getting rid of it. But
oh yeah, I'm getting that now. Which I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm getting a Star Wars collection. It's my cousin's. He left it at his parents' house 30 years, almost 30 years ago now when he moved out.
Yeah.
And it's still sitting there. And my dad looked at my aunt and goes, I know somebody who will totally take that if you want to get rid of it. I'm like, I will take it. I will totally jump on that. I was like, if you don't want me to sell it, I'll just keep it. So
when I was dating my ex-wife. When we were dating, we went to see her aunt and uncle, and somehow we got on the subject. It's like, well, we've got a whole bunch of the kids' Star Wars stuff up in Addie. You can take it with you. I was like, okay. They didn't want any money or nothing. I mean, this is like 92, 93, so no one, people were just giving that stuff away then.
From Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, Millennium Falcon that you put together, batteries not included.
Nice landing, Han Solo. Uh-oh, come on, Chewbacca. Stormtroopers are coming.
Action figures each sold separately.
Got him on radar. I'll fire the laser cannon.
There's even a hidden storage hatch.
Ready for takeoff. Jump to light speed. We're gone. On to the Death Star.
Millennium Falcon from Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately.
Here's the Star Wars X-Wing Fighter and the Star Wars TIE Fighter. Spaceships and Luke Skywalker sold separately. Batteries not included.
I'll get you this time, Luke. Reactivate X-Wings.
Both with flashing lights and sound.
A hit. There go the solar panels. And Darth Vader got away. Force is with me. Luke Skywalker wins again.
Kenner's Star Wars X-Wing Fighter, TIE Fighter, and action figures all sold separately.
I take it back. It'll be a year. It was a year June. My parents called me up and they're like, hey, we're at this garage sale. this guy has Star Wars and GI Joe vintage stuff.
Ugh.
And I'm like, okay. I dropped everything. I had my son go to my shop. I'm like, watch the shop. I'll be right back. I ran over to a town over. I roll in and there's some stuff still in the box. There was the little like electronic Star Wars game, box instructions, everything. Two Hoth play sets still with the box. The Wampa with the box. The speeder bike with the box. Several figures. The trash compactor monster, which I can never remember the name on that. Pieces of the Death Star, and then just a ton of GI Joe stuff. And I'm sitting there, I walk up, I'm like, how much for everything? And he's like, well, I don't know, I want to sell it piece by piece. I'm like, I'm here now with cash. What do you want for everything? And it took us it took me probably 40 minutes of wheeling and dealing with that guy before we came on a price. And I was like, all right, I feel good about this. I boxed it all up, filled the back of my car, took it home, put it up at the shop. I sold 3 pieces the next day and made probably 3/4 of my money back.
Oh man.
Well, it was like I said, it was the 2 Hoth play sets, the Wampa and the speeder bike all sold within the first weekend that I got them. And the little electronic game took forever to sell, but
but still that's
the last good thing I've run across.
The cheapest figure I ever found was a Power of the Force figure. An Ewok at a flea market, and the lady said, I got this little bear, I'll let you have it for $0.25.
Like,
okay. Yeah. It was missing the spear, but it
had the hood.
Yeah.
I've got 3 of the Jawas, the 2 of the final 2. Two of the same figure from the final 2, and then one of the other ones, and none of them have their hood.
No, really? Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But they're in my collection. Whatever. That's
a lot of times I'll get that call. Man, I'm at this yard sale or estate sale. They got tons of vintage old Star Wars toys. Come look, and I'll get all the way down there, and it'd be those damn 90s figures.
Oh yeah. Oh, I went and I got really excited yesterday. I was on Facebook, and about 40 minutes north of here, they're like vintage Star Wars figures starting at $10 a piece. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. And then I look at the picture and I'm like, oh, this is the 90s and early 2000. No, it's not what I'm looking for.
No, I've learned when people call me, I say, well, what they look like.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna go, how cheap are they?
Yeah.
Because if it's Phantom Menace, it's not cheap enough.
No. And somebody told me, he was like, I know a place where you can get like that 90 stuff still in car for like $10 each. I was like, well, I know a place I can go on eBay and get them for $1
Oh yeah. We
$10 in a deal.
No. It's bad. You look back when we were buying carded figures from the original Star Wars, and we were all happy to get those figures in the 90s. And now you're looking, okay, well, that's the same amount of time as gone between now and the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And them cards are worthless.
No, but everybody bought them to collect.
Oh, yeah.
In the 80s, we just opened. Most people didn't, buy 2 or buy 1 to open. They were just, unless you had Rick Springfield. I heard he was going around. He was going around Toys R Us when he was on tour buying up Star Wars figures.
Did you ever see his collection?
Yeah, I did a video on her looking at it. He had a lot of stuff, a lot of rare stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, that's I had 2 of the uber rare ones back in the day. The Uzes or whatever, the blue stars. Man. I had a blue star and I had the headman or whatever.
Yeah, those.
And they probably got sold it or traded off years ago because they were just crappy bootlegs back in the day.
Yeah, that headman's worth a lot.
But
I don't think there's many of them at all out there.
No. So, but what's funny for me was when the new Star Wars figures started coming out in the 90s, I bought cases. Because I worked at a comic book store, so I got them at wholesale price. So I would just buy them and set on them. and I got I was buying, then I started ordering through Kenner at the time, before when the whole thing was going over, this is when episode 1 start getting ready to come out. I sit there, I'm talking to a guy on the phone, and I go, hey, and they're like, we're going to only do the original trilogy figures as, sendaways with ships, stuff like that. We're going to focus on the new stuff. And then I was like, okay, cool. That means I got less stuff to collect. About 3 months later, I get this catalog in the mail, and I look at it, and it's all these new original trilogy figures. I'm like, I didn't think we were gonna get these. So I call them up again, and they're like, no, we're gonna keep doing it. I'm like, I'm done. I can't collect no more. That's too much. And now I look at them like, man, I would give anything for the good old days of only having 4 movies to buy toys from.
Right. Make it a lot easier.
Yep. But all right, sir. But I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate your time, and this means a lot to me that you took your time to help me out here and talk with me, and I do appreciate it. So
thanks for having. Let me know when it's up and everything.
Hopefully it will be up Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm going to edit tomorrow and hopefully have it up Tuesday, depending on my internet. My internet's been crap lately here, so.
Know about that.
Yeah. It took me a full day to upload 1 episode the other day, so it's horrible.
Yeah, I've had those days.
Yep. So, all right, sir. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And I will look forward to watching your next show, episode 2. So.
Okay, sounds good.
Good. Have a good one.
Thanks.